Hello everyone, how are you? I am Akrash, your teacher here, and I will teach you different questions and their answers. So I welcome you on classtheta.com. So our today's question is
Question P Edmonton Pools manufacturers swimming pool equipment. Edmonton has estimated the following manufacturing overhead rates using different independent situations. Click the icon to view the rates. Determine the total manufacturer overhead allocated to Edmonton's manufacturing job in the following independent situation. 1. Assume that the company actually used 51,700 direct labor hours. Assume that the company actually incurred 10,20,000 of direct labor cost. 2. 3. Assume that the company actually ran the machine 39,500 hours. Briefly explain what you have learned about the total manufacturing overhead allocated to production. 4. 1. Determine the total manufacturing overhead allocated to Edmonton's manufacturing jobs, assuming that the company actually used 51,700 direct labor hours. Enter the formula and compute the total manufacturing overhead allocated to Edmonton's manufacturing job. Manufacturing overhead allocated, estimated manufacturing estimated quantity, predetermined overhead cost is of allocation based overhead rate, direct labor hours $28 per DLR, 14 lakh 50,000 direct labor dollars, 140% DL cost 14 lakh 10 lakh $35 per MH machine hours 40,000 14 lakh. And the answer of the question is to determine the total manufacturing overhead allocated to Edmonton's manufacturing jobs. We will use the given predetermined overhead rates and actual quantities of the allocation basis used. Given data: 1. Direct labor hours, predetermined overhead rate $28 per DLR, estimated manufacturing overhead costs 14 lakh, estimated quantity of allocation base 50,000 DLRs. 2. Direct labor dollars, predetermined overhead rate 140% of DL cost, estimated manufacturing overhead cost 14 lakh, estimated quantity of allocation base 10 lakh, DL cost machine hours, predetermined overhead rates $35 per MH, estimated manufacturing overhead cost 14 lakh, estimated quantity of allocation base 40,000 MH. Independent situation: first, direct labor hours used 51,700 DLRs. Second, direct labor costs incurred 10 lakh 20,000. Third, machine hours run 39,500 MH. Situation 1. Total manufacturing overhead allocated direct labor hours used. Formula: text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to text predetermined overhead rate time text actual quantity of allocation base. Calculation: text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to 28 text DLR time 51,700 text DLRs. Text manufacturing overhead allocated 28 times 51,700 text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to 14 lakh 47,600 text dollar. Situation 2. Total manufacturing overhead allocated direct labor cost incurred. Formula: text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to text predetermined overhead rate times text actual direct labor cost. Calculation: text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to 140% times 10 lakh 20,000 text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to 140 times 10 lakh 20,000 text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to 14 lakh 28,000 text dollars. Situation 3. Total manufacturing overhead allocated machine hours run. Formula: text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to text predetermined overhead rate times text actual quantity of allocation base. Calculation: text manufacturing overhead allocated equal to 35.00 text MH times 39,500 text MH. Text manufacturing overhead allocated is equal to 35.00 times 39,500 text manufacturing overhead allocated is equal to 13,82,500 text dollar. Explanation for the calculation above: we can observe the following. The total manufacturing overhead allocated to production varies depending on the allocation base used. Direct labor hours, direct labor dollars on machine hours. In the case of using direct labor hours, the overhead allocated is 1 lakh 14 lakh 47,600 for tract labor dollars. The overhead allocated is 14 lakh 28,000 using machine hours. The overhead allocated is 13 lakh 82,500. The different illustrate the impact of choosing different allocation based on the importance of selecting the most appropriate one for accurate overhead allocation. It is also emphasizes how actual usage or cost can influence the total overhead allocated, affecting job costing and overall costing management.
Thank you for watching the video. If you have any question related to this video, please post a comment below. If you have any question in your mind, you can also post on the website and I will be answering you in the next video. Thank you for engaging with us. Until next video, bye bye.